I thought I'd try something a little different to advertise my channel. Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. Let's talk tactics. With each race I'm getting a little stronger, and now I don't have to just hang on for dear life the whole race. I can start employing some tactics. I can start to make things happen. Of course I can't make a lot of things happen, but I'm just able to start doing so. The first tactic I started employing soon after I got into Zwift racing is ramping up my power with 3 seconds to go. Not to the end, but before the race starts. That way I can jump out with the rest of them. And even though I'm doing that, I don't always jump out at the front, but I'm not at the back as soon as the race starts. The second tactic I started employing, as a consequence of my hanging on for dear life, is riding the fine line between aerobic and anaerobic death. And that involves the following: switching back and forth between big gear, big power, and small gear, not so big power. Moving toward the front of the pack when it's not crunch time, so I can drift back and survive when it is. Riding people's wheels. And when they appear, taking advantage of tokens, especially at the right time. Now that I've gotten a little stronger doing this, I can start using some other tactics. But first, let's talk about what's going on the screen. I'm back to my favorite Crit City race. This is the short version that I like, the 9.8 mile, and this is counterclockwise. I notice with these Crit City races, the stronger I get, the longer I'm lasting with the front group. It used to be I'd last about maybe a quarter of the race. Now it's gotten so that I'm losing connection somewhere between the first third and the first half of the race. You may have noticed that when the arrow token appeared in the upper left-hand corner that I clicked on it right away. I should not have done that. The longer I could have waited to click on it, the more it would have been active on the tough roller section. I fast forwarded to lap 3.5 into this 8-lap race. I am now hanging toward the back of the pack. If you look at the graphics on the right, the data on the right, you'll see that after the third rider behind me, that there's a gap of about 1 minute. You will also see that this lead group is starting to split, and I'm on the wrong end of the split. Looking up at the corners, you'll see that we're chasing a couple riders who are chasing the pack up there. One of those guys is making it across. Now the other one doesn't look like he's going to do it. And the two that were kind of around me, I'm glad to now be with them. I'm pretty tired. If I go to the front and try to chase, I'm afraid I'm just going to get spit out the back of this chase group. So now we're all kind of working together. We are all pretty tired right now. While we all know that unless the pack slows up a lot or people start off to drop off the back, that the main thing we have to worry about, at least that I'm worrying about, are those people behind me. Right now they're about 1.5 minutes behind me, but we don't want a small group that all of a sudden gets strong and starts working together to come up to us. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting a little bit of pressure. I'm trying to find out what my teammates are like, and I'm sure they're trying to find out what I'm like. We are a group of 4. Even though you see 3 of us right now, it's a group of 4. Fast forward again, it's now 3 laps to go. I have an arrow token, and now I'm going on the tough roller section, so I'm just laying down the watts. I want to see how these guys react. I also don't know, again, what they're like sprinting-wise, and I don't know what they're like in the final kilometer. I hold this wattage all the way to the end of the roller section, where I get to see the effects of what I did. Looking at the data, I see that they are split by 1 second apart from each other, and that the closest person is 1 second behind me. Now, that made me tired, so I'm letting up a bit, and these guys are coming up, but I'm still holding my wattage up as much as I can. Now, this guy goes to the front, and he's now laying down some wattage, so that's somebody I have to watch out for. Probably all of them is who I have to watch out for, but I'm keeping an eye on this, so now I'm being a little more conservative. One of the things that my maneuver caused was that 4th person that was with us is now dropped. We are a group of 3. That person's about 4 or 5 seconds behind me. Fast forward again, as we start the bell lap, we picked up a lapped rider. During the previous 2 laps, that rider in the bright yellow-orange jersey with the helmet on put in a pretty big attack. I tried to be as conservative as I could. Now we're entering in the last section, and so I figured this is where I have to go away. Do what I did about 2 laps ago, and then hopefully I hold it. This is going to be tough. I'm looking at the side again, and I'm seeing that the nearest person is about 1 second away from me. Now they're 2 seconds away from me. It looks like that this maneuver has worked, at least for the moment. Now the thing is, am I going to be able to maintain it? I'm still looking at the data on the side, and so now they're at about 3 seconds and 4 seconds. I can't let up here. I am also starting to get tired here. I can't maintain this pace for the balance of the race. I am living and dying now with the data that's on the side. I am looking at the gap between me and the previous person. So right now it's about 5-6 seconds. So I can dial back just a little bit but maintain some power. And now I see that they're starting to creep up. I see they're about 4 and 5 seconds, 3 seconds. They're coming up 2 seconds. I have to now put in a little more power just so I can disincentivize them. I get it up to about 4.5 watts per kilogram. It would be oh so nice to be able to maintain that all the way to the finish, which brings into the conversation the other piece of data that I'm looking at. How far till the end of the race? Just 1/10 of a mile to go. Those guys were back up to 4 seconds, but now they're starting to crawl back. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, there's the finish. 1 second, made it. 12th place. 12th place on Zwift. However, when you look on ZwiftPower.com, I got on the podium. I hope you enjoyed this and got a little something out of it. Remember, as always, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.